everyone. I'm Brandon Jones. I'm joined by Mr. Kyle Bossman.
Hello.
And the two of us are cautiously optimistic about Metal Gear Survive.
Yeah. Yes.
There is a demo going on right now that you can go check out. That is the co-op. So you're playing with other players. That is a mode that will be available in Metal Gear Survive. But last week, I got the chance to play the single-player version.
Yeah.
The version of Metal Gear Survive that you're just playing by yourself.
I'm really curious about this. Yeah.
I'm happy that you're curious about it. I just wrote a list down of all the crazy stuff that I noticed.
Okay.
And I want to run them by you.
Okay.
And get your sense if you're more excited about it, if this answers any questions.
Okay.
So now, I have not seen the trailer for Metal Gear Survive. I remember way back, the first thing we found out about, like, Snake was in that, or there were some characters, and they got, like, sucked into
Your
a
base.
portal somewhere.
Snake's base
Okay.
is in that trailer, and the whole base is what gets sucked up into the.
But no other, you don't see Ocelot or anybody, you don't see,
Right.
like, any other. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no real mention outside of Mother Base of MGS5. That was, like, the only thing, and they do a big reveal where your character, like, your custom character that you create discovers what happened? Where am I? And what's really interesting is you are in another dimension. So you're not only thrown into this place and you have to survive, clearly some war happened that everything went wrong. So when you're just finding bodies, you're wondering, like, who are these people? Like, who are the good guys here? Who are the bad guys here? Why are there a bunch of, like, crystalline zombies running around attacking people? Why is there a crazy mist surrounding this area? So there's just, like, lots of questions. So it's neat to, like, rescue people, bringing them back to the base. And it's not only just like, oh, great, you're a medic. Okay, set up the medic tent, and now I can just go on with something else. It's like, you're from this world. What happened? Or maybe you're not.
And
or
they
you
have
are.
dialogue?
I only play. Yeah, there was one character we bumped into that was from that world that was injured, so I brought him back to the base, and then I got a medic and brought her back, and they just started to reveal, more info about possibly what happened in this world.
Okay.
So that could end up being nothing. I don't know, but that's an interesting take on, like, traveling to another world. That, like, it does. They also speak English. They also use, like, similar weapons and stuff like that. But there is specifically the Karen Corps. Charon, the Karen Corps.
Okay.
Is like, those are the soldiers you keep finding. Oh, Karen Corps, they were wiped out here again. So it's like, okay, I don't know who they are
And
or
you're
what
saying
they're doing.
they're native to this alternate dimension?
To this new, place that you were dropped into.
Oh, okay.
As are Kuban energy crystals.
Yes.
It's going to be something you're going to want to find. So you're familiar with those. Those pop up in co-op, or you've...
I think that's part of, like, the whole aesthetic, the energy crystals. They're
Yeah.
orange, right?
And they were kind of pinkish, actually.
Okay, sure.
And there, you can get those in a couple ways. You can just, like, find them on the ground. You can find, like, little crystals popping up out of the ground that you just run up and do damage to, and then you can collect those. It's great because it's got the classic, like, MGS5 sound effects, like, across the board going through
when
the
you
menu
pick up
and
an
everything.
item,
And so,
yeah.
and so that's, I think, one of the reasons why I'm most excited about this game. So I'm like, I loved MGS5. I love the way that game controlled, and I love survival games. And so if they can take all of these systems and kind of dump this into this third-person, tactical stealth game that I loved, especially with zombies. And the zombies are a really interesting style. They're like, I haven't seen crystals in zombies done before. And I know everybody's got a gimmick when it comes to the undead, but so I think it's really interesting that, like, a lot of them won't even have a head, or will have, like, part of their head missing, and there's just this big crystal, like, jutting out of their neck. Or, like, where their head used to be. And a lot of times when you'll shoot them, like, crystals will kind of shatter off of them. So it's, like, an interesting style. It's fun to, like, just mow down a whole group of them when they're just, like, shattering, like, pink dust all over the place. And the world is spelled D-I-T-E. It's Dite. That's, like,
Dite.
the dimension or the planet, or I'm not sure, like, exactly what Dite is, but they threw that name around a little bit. And there's a robot named Virgil 89 that is guiding you through this.
What does the robot look like?
It looks like the robot from Mother Base. It wasn't called Mother Base. What is it called in MGS5? Is it Mother Base?
Yeah.
That's what's, like, the looks like a Coke can. That's, like, the AI that they bring in.
Oh, yeah, those are serious.
So it's one of those,
Okay.
and you reboot that, and it has a male voice and a female voice that both talk to you and give you advice. And I don't know if there's, like, a distinction between the two of them, if they're gonna blossom into specific characters. But again, this was, like, the very beginning. I kind of hustled through it. I got to a point where they came over and they were like, "Oh, you're done. Stop." They're like, "Stop playing." And I was like,
there's more story going on.
I just wanted to keep on going through it. I think one of the most negative things when they came by and they're like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, the number one thing I hate about this game, everybody talks really slowly. So, like, every single exchange, they would have, like, little text windows that would pop up, and I would cut people off every sentence.
Oh, sure.
Like, they'd be like, "Okay, here's what I wanted, but it'd be like, okay, here's what I want to do next. Let's go over to there and do that thing. And I'm like, all right, boop, next line. And like, I just never heard anybody complete a sentence because the robot's like, now you need to go over. And I'm just like, please stop. There's nothing they can do. All that's recorded. So like, that's just going to be in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, you pick up a survivor named Reeve, and you bring him back over to your base. You have your health, and you got your stamina. Obviously, stamina's running. Boy, does that stamina run out real quick. It took me like a long time to like, okay, and it was frustrating. Like, I gotta get back to the base. But if I'm running, I'm using up stamina, and the only way to get stamina back is water. And throughout my entire play session, I never purified water. I was always drinking bad water. And I eventually asked him, I'm like, maybe this is just because I'm an Eagle Scout, but like, you just put water in a pot and you boil it, and you can drink that, you know. And then like, you don't know that. And she was like, eventually you'll get a kettle, and then you'll be able to purify water.
Okay,
I'm like,
cool.
okay.
Yeah.
So every time I'm drinking bad water, I'm rolling the dice that I could get dysentery, that I could get like bad
really?
stuff, and then I'd have to undo that. So if you're reckless and you're out in the wild and you're just like, oh, I'm thirsty, I have water right here, I'm just gonna drink that because I know I got my pills that I can take,
That's
iodine or
right.
something, maybe, I don't know.
It has like a Metal Gear Solid 3 style like heal yourself menu too, right?
Yes.
Even for like injuries.
So and I didn't specifically get into that.
Yeah.
Like bandaging and whatnot. This was pretty much just, I ate food, my health went up, I drank water, my stamina went up. So anytime you're running, the water you just drank, even like the bad water, is depleting super fast. So it was really interesting playing this like open world third person game where I'm not running anywhere. It's just like, I don't know if I'm going to run out. And I'm sure one of the things that I like about survival games is that kind of that crest of the wave that you get where you're like, now I'm in control. Okay, now I'm actually comfortable. I know the systems. I know how to manage it. I know how to be smart with my resources. And I just almost got to that point.
Yeah.
So I'm dying to purify some water in this game eventually.
And get a motorcycle.
Oh, and just get vehicles and drive around, stuff like that. Yeah, I was on foot pretty much the whole time. Did some teleportation, which was fun. Which you'll get to a spot, and then once you finish that mission, some places will have a teleport spot that you can just go straight back. Cool. Especially if you're rescuing somebody. Obviously, it helps. You don't want to like carry them all the way back. Super handholdy tutorial. Very much do this thing, now do this thing, now do this thing. Not a lot of freedom to run around.
Laying traps and building the bases stuff.
Yeah.
So
that. Okay. But I'm sure I was able to absorb what I played of like, they only give you a couple of traps to experiment with. But I bet once you get 3 or 4 hours into this, it gets pretty complex. They have a lot of systems. So I bet like I kind of wanted to move past the slow dialogue and the handholdy tutorial. I'm like ready to just, like start chewing on this game. But I bet I will be grateful for those, instructions and that handholding a couple hours in where I'm just like, wait a minute, you just threw some crazy system at me. And yeah, so you're running around this world, retrieving technology. I wrote down here specifically retrieving memory boards, and that means like nothing to me now. But like, you're going out and getting stuff. And one of the things that was the slow dialogue was my least favorite. My absolute favorite, and I don't know a lot of survival games that are doing this, is there is a mist that is surrounding the area that you're in. And you can go into it, but you need oxygen, and you don't get oxygen right away. So there was like a point in this demo where like I finally got my tank.
And so I'm going straight to the
head
mist.
off and go into the mist.
Okay.
So you'll get missions, and it'll be like a circle where it's like, it's somewhere in here, I don't know. And once you get into that mist, your waypoints go away, your mini-map goes away, you can't see anything, you can only see like 10 feet in front of you. So if there's a bunch of zombies walking around, like you don't want to be sprinting or like later driving vehicles unless you can get around them. And so the first time I did this, I'm like, I think it's around this mountain. And I went in there and like took out the zombies and like got the thing I needed to get, and then turned around and it was just gray. I'm like, where am I? Where am I? How do I get back?
All around, 360
and,
gray,
yeah,
you mean.
and what I had done is just kind of moved around this mountain that was blocking my view of the back at the base. And what I could still see was a green light that was on the very tall top of a tower. And I imagine maybe as you update your base, you get more of those lights, so you can kind of see your base from further
makes
away.
Sense, sure.
So it was spooky to like be there and be like, oh, I have no idea where I am. Like, I think it's over there. And so I'm just kind of like walking around the mountain, like, oh, there it is. Okay, I see my light. All right, I can get back. And it was funny because I told them, I'm like, I love that part. And they're like, oh, you like survival games, don't you?
I see.
They're like, that can frustrate a lot of players who are just like, I went into this mist and I don't know where I am or what I'm doing. And that's everything to me. I love it. I love like when those resources are dwindling, like you're running out of oxygen. If you run out of oxygen, you can use the crystals that you've collected to like replete your oxygen, but it gets more expensive every time you do it.
Sure.
And so, and obviously you're using those crystals to level stuff up, to buy new equipment. And so it's that question, like while you're out it's like, oh, I did this one mission. And a lot of the stuff I was doing was, I'd be in my base, go to a thing, do the thing, come back. Where I imagine when you really get going 3 or 4 hours into that single player, when you're out, I might want to do a couple things. I want to hit 3 or 4 spots before I go back. So if you run out of oxygen, you're like, should I spend the crystals to get the oxygen and just do this while I'm here? Or should I just get in the teleporter, go back, and then I'll replenish everything and come back?
What happens if you die?
Did not die. I don't know. I think you just respawn at your base, possibly
without your equipment,
possibly
probably,
losing
right?
some materials and stuff like that. But didn't have, not to show off. It just didn't. I was dying to play as much of this as possible. But you can repair durability, which is nice. Playing a lot of Fortnite, you can't if you just gotta wait till that weapon runs out. But I like being able to repair. They're gonna have daily, weekly. They're gonna have daily and weekly co-op missions, and that's what everybody can do right now. So what I'm describing the beta. So I'm describing is this is something that like everyone that I went to the preview event with, all of us played this by ourselves. And then what they want you to do is build up, get the equipment there, take those tools into co-op. Level up. We actually were way under leveled for the stuff that we were doing. I'm curious if that's the same in the co-op stuff now. So it was extremely difficult. But one thing I really dug is even in Fortnite, which I play a lot of, the emplacements and stuff that you put down is locked on a grid. So like if I have a wall, the wall can go here or here or here. There's like a guaranteed 5-foot distance between any spot you can put that wall.
Yeah.
Whereas you can put up a wall in this to block yourself from, and a lot of people are probably discovering this right now playing the beta, and you can just put that anywhere. You're moving that along the ground, and like you can just move that, and then it'll light up red
fence.
when it's like, no, you can't put that there. But you can really be creative as far as like what materials you want to use. There's different types of fences, and so it's fun. The strategy was kind of like take a pole arm, put a fence up, have them get angry and get up against the fence, and you just jab them all in the face like through the fence. And at one point, if I didn't do enough damage to them over time and they're still at the fence, some of them will take hold and start climbing up over the fence.
Yeah.
And because the fence wasn't attached to anything, it was literally just a fence wall, they knocked it over.
Yeah.
So a couple people got up and it started to bend over and then finally collapsed. And so it's fun to setting up those emplacements. Like it was neat when I could tell at one spot. I saw some other the players struggling with it, but I was like, I'm just gonna put like 8 walls right here and then just deal with this corner.
Yeah.
And so I like by the time the timer went out, the zombies didn't have time to get through all those fences. But I'm like, I didn't put a fence here, but this is the only spot I'm gonna actually care about.
And I forgot how like there's kind of like a charming homemade aspect of the weapons. Like when you said pole arm, you know what I mean? Like there's like it's like the weird like machinery just kind of collected together. It's weird to have a pole arm in a Metal Gear game, right? It's nothing that would occur to you, but yeah, in this world, they have like weird makeshift weaponry and things like that.
And I imagine like if you're out on one of these big long treks and you have your favorite gun, it's like, oh, well, I can't repair it right now, so it's nice to have some guns I'm not in love with, but just to use as backup in case I get out there and I'm,
So actually, one thing that made me nervous is when I was playing, they kind of discouraged using your guns. They're like, hold on to your bullets.
Yeah. Well, I never sprinted, so it's a survival game,
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people, it might be shocking going straight from MGS5 into this, where they're like, wait, this is hard. Like I'm not kind of celebrating, but at the same time, I'm not kind of celebrating all of the cool equipment that I have and really like kicking ass on every mission. Like you're probably gonna get burnt a couple times. I definitely. Oh no, that is a lie. I did die at one point because they like intentionally trapped me where they're like, go find that signal down this canyon, and you like go into the canyon, and then it's like, all right, now I have to leave the canyon, and I'm blocked, and here come all the zombies climbing up over the hills and everything.
Yeah.
And I think it just respawned me back when I like first encountered that canyon area. So it's like, but I did not pay attention to my inventory, so I don't know if I lost anything or if like that was just how that worked out at the beginning of the game.
Wait, what was the solution to that?
I tried to run past them, and there was just too much going on.
So the second time through, you're like, okay, I'll just take.
I was like, I know they're coming, so I like set up the wall and then like crossed the line where I'm like, and this is where I trigger them coming down the walls. So they came down and just waited for them to like walk up to the fence and put them all.
All right.
But that's the kind of thing about survival is like to some people that might be boring and dull, but to me it's like I really want to be careful, and then it's even more rewarding than MGS5 would be if I get to that point where like I'm cozy with my resources. I like the people that tons of customization that you have in your base. Didn't bother with that in the demo because I'm just like yeah, weapon station, sure, I'll put that right there. I'm not gonna like freak out about it now because I'm not taking the space with me. You rescue survivors. I went and rescued a nurse named Miranda, and it picked her up and then dropped her off at a teleporter station, and then like as I'm like powering up the teleporter station, all the zombies come in. So there's like a gun emplacement right there that you can use.
Is it like 5 where you have to put them over your shoulders and carry them? Oh man, okay.
So yeah, that was kind of spooky. Like you just like lie down here for a second while I move this. And so if you liked MGS5, I think that's one of the things that attracts me so much is that I'm like curious about the survival elements, but like I know the gameplay's good. I know like you moving around that world and being stealthy. It was fun sneaking by stuff. And then it just started to tease at stuff that we didn't get into. You can farm, you can set up gardens like in your place, you can grow vegetables and make bread and stuff like that. So you don't have to go out and scavenge food out into the world.
Yeah.
What was the Fulton? From MGS5 is now a teleporter. So you get that technology.
Oh, great.
And I could kill animals and harvest them, but it would just, I was at the stage in the single player, it would just automatically turn them into resources. But you get to a point where you build a pen and then you can grab an animal and send it back. And so I think you could do that in MGS5, but it was like on one of the islands of your base, and I never went over there. You know, it's like you definitely are much more hands-on. You can see all of your base at the same time, and so I imagine for a survival game, you're just like, oh, these are my sheep. You know, I can imagine that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I'm curious. You can raise the animals. I don't know if you can like take a dog with you or something on a mission. Like, did not get that far. We'll have microtransactions, but they will be cosmetic and boosts. So like boosts to XP, boosts to other stuff.
You know, I don't like boosts.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Did you feel like you were being prohibited when you were like trying to upgrade things? Did you feel like it was manufactured to be slower than it should have been?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard. Like, so the opening of any good survival game should be frustrating a little bit. You know, you should feel like, oh, I cannot wait until I finally get comfortable.
Yeah.
But it did not feel like, oh, clearly, you know, they didn't give me like, here's your first free loot box. Like, never got into any of that stuff. Sure. They volunteered that information. They were like, just to clarify, you're not going to be experiencing them today. We're not going to be getting into that, you know, in the beta, but like we will have that eventually in the game. We are making it just stuff that will like help your experience, but not something that's going to create bad blood between you and the people that you're playing with or against. Or I don't think there is any verses.
Again,
I think it's all co-op.
Like,
no, I think it's all co-op.
Okay, cool.
The beta's going right now, 18th through the 21st. It's just the co-op only. And February 20th, we get the launch of Metal Gear Survive.
Whoa, I didn't realize it's that soon. Cool.
So, I think the Mist was really curious. I'm curious to see like what types of, they were pretty much just standard zombies. It was really just like, you know, crazy numbers. A couple of them like didn't have legs. They were just torsos. So they're just like crawling along the ground. And so I'm really curious to see like what other crazy, other like bigger guys and what other crazy enemy types do we get into.
I have 2 questions.
Sure.
Caves?
I would imagine, sure. I mean,
Okay.
the map felt very similar to the classic desert from MGS5. So,
and then interiors. Did you get to see any cool interiors?
The base was completely wide open. So every workbench that I went at was just a bench out in the middle of the desert.
And
but like
basically everything you saw of this world, Dite,
yeah,
is like desert.
Yeah, just completely wide open canyons and stuff like that.
All right.
Little bit of animal hunting, little bit of just didn't really wanted to move from one objective to the other. So I'm curious like how much freedom you can get before you're really tethered back to your base. And you're like, okay, I'm running out of oxygen, I'm running out of food, I got to get back. Or if they kind of tailored it to be a little more difficult just for the preview event. Yeah, and I'm curious like how long that is. Like, it seems like a big experience. It seems like, you know, if you're starting with MGS5 and kind of, you know, dropping this survival thing on it, if you have so much stuff already built for you, and you can just add this, you know, character creation element and then just like all these other crazy tools that you have, I wonder how extensive that is.
It sounds like the thing that keeps it infinite though is the co-op.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So the idea is you go in, the experience that we had is we did the single player, then did a co-op mission, got tons of experience, got all sorts of cool items, and then we could take that back into single player and just have more XP, have higher level, a little more health, a little more stamina. Curious. I mean, I will definitely be playing this. I'm a glutton for survival stuff, and I just loved walking around that world. I love the combat. Love specifically just like sneaking through places. So it's really interesting. It's one thing to like stealth through an MGS5 and like see like a sniper at an emplacement or somebody patrolling a very specific area, and it's another thing where it's just 8 zombies over there just bumping into each other and wandering around. So you're like, how do I get into this area? It was fun, like intentionally pissing them off. You know, you're like, yoo-hoo, and just kind of like get one of them angry and then just like put up a wall and kind of like block them all into one area and then take them all out. So
this seems to be your method, the polearm.
Well, yeah, you get the second weapon I got was like a machete, but it's like you really got to get close to him.
Yeah.
And so and like they were saying, like I got guns, but you only want to shoot so much because you run out of ammo. So
it's cool.
Will this game be fun in the long term? When am I going to get burnt on Metal Gear Survive? My number one question going into the launch of this game. But is this going to be something that I'm going to have enough time to review? I don't know, but this is definitely going to be something I'm going to play. So if you are curious, stay tuned to Easy Allies. Is this something you said you're tempted?
Yeah. And honestly, when you say there's like a little pieces of story, yes. I'm like, I think this is the right way to do a wrong thing. It's wrong to make a Metal Gear Solid game without Hideo Kojima, obviously, right?
Sure.
But this is the right way to do it. They're like, you know what? Let's just take it in this alternate universe, right? We're not messing with any canon. We're not disgracing.
Yeah, it was
the
like
story.
Death Stranding, where the guy comes floating in with weird hand signals, and
Yeah.
like these are all just regular Joes,
Yeah.
and Jill's trying to figure out what the hell is going on in this world.
Yeah, I think it's the right way to do it. And so, like, I don't know if it's hurting any feelings for this game.
And potentially get back. That was kind of one fun thing where they're like, oh, cool, we'll build this thing and then that'll get us back home. And they're like,
Yeah.
probably not. Like, we're probably stuck here, but who knows? Maybe we can get back.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I'll say this. If Metal Gear Survive is 80 hours, I don't know. But if it's like 20 to 30, I'll probably
get
hooked, man.
I totally
if
understand,
I put 10 to 15 into this and I can tell I'm getting close to the ending, it's like, okay, I'll put some stuff on hold just to see the end of it.
Yeah.
And just what crazy updates they have, what these events are like. It'd be really interesting to see them get creative for these special events and weekly and daily things. Because that's what I'm enjoying with Fortnite. Like, I have my own little thing that I like to do, but every now and then they have a fun event or holiday thing or something.
yeah.
So it'd be fun to see this game evolve and what they do with it. But the team was really nice. The demo was really fun to play, and I'm excited to get back to it. So
Cool.
thanks for chatting, Kyle.
That's fun.
Thanks for watching, everybody.